April 5th, 2022 at 1:05 p.m. This meeting is being recorded. If we can do a roll call of members present, first starting with Janet Schultz.
Staff present.
Thank you. Emma Young.
Present.
Thank you. Sarah Ellis.
Present.
Thank you. Michael Kopko.
Present.
Thank you. Justin Churn.
Present.
Thank you. Ava Rollins. Okay, Ava's on the road. I know she's traveling today. She was going to try to call in, so that may happen during the meeting. Tony Wagner.
Present.
Thank you. So I now call to order the members of the Nantucket Cultural Council for this meeting. The first order of business is to review the minutes from the last meeting, which was held on March 8th. Has everyone received those minutes?
Yes.
And was able to review them? Perfect. Can I get an approval on those minutes?
Move approval.
Thank you. May I get a second? Thank you. Those minutes have been approved. Today's agenda for the meeting is centering around our event that we're holding on the 17th of May. That event is our awards reception for our recipients of the Cultural Council Awards in these past years that have been affected by the pandemic, which is 2020, 21, and 22. Emma, as well as past recipients, past council members. It's just basically a celebration of culture. We've had a dormant period for 2 years, and this is a way to really embrace all of our recipients that have created programming in the abyss of the pandemic, as well as springing forward and creating new programming to move culture forward. So we're recognizing these people, as well as recognizing people of the council. Each of us had an action item. So what I'd like to do is just go through the action, the pinnacles of focus of the event, and then you can report on where you are in your planning, if you need help or support, and then we can go for there. How does that sound?
Good.
Great.
All right, first we'll start with the venue, which is being donated by the White Heron Theater Company. And the point person on that is Michael Kopko. Michael, do you have anything to add about the venue?
No, Jordana, just I know you had a question about wine, and I've got a case and a half of white wine, but I've got a whole ton of this, what they call cranberry Pinot Gris. It's sort of a lightly sparkling rosé looking wine that I'd love to pour a whole lot of.
Sure.
But that's what I have. And I was going to ask if we could get cups provided, that would be great. And
yes, that's part of perfect.
And we have napkins. The venue's set. And if someone, whoever's kind of coordinating these things, could put together like a timeline of the event.
Yes.
Set up, start, what's happening in what order, how that's, all that kind of thing, and curtain down, that would be helpful too.
So after today's meeting, what I thought is I would start to flesh out that timeline and begin that process and do it project management event style. So almost every 5 minutes is planned because with the large amount of recipients, this timeline could get away from us, and we don't want that to happen. We want to engage our audience and not keep everyone there for hours. Right. So
Also,
on the
just a point of there will likely be a number of people there, and we at that time don't have a whole lot of staff. In fact, probably me, and maybe one other person. So hopefully the rest of the council, we'll all be sort of acting as hosts at the event, and kind of helping, keep people corralled and, doing what they're
definitely
supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely, as hosts, I can see us all being a part of. As far as staff, do you have people? Do we need bar staff?
It would be helpful if we had somebody tip certified who might volunteer to just pour. I mean, it's just pouring wine, but as you know,
Yep.
it's always a bad idea to have self-service at an open wine bar.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
so
if you could get somebody, one or two people in, that would be really helpful.
Okay, great. Perfect. Anything else that you need support on at the venue that you can that you've thought about or your first thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm assuming that we'll probably have a single microphone if we even need that. Our venue's pretty small and we don't usually mic certainly performances or anything like that, but I can have a mic ready to go, and just, basic stage lighting. So
I think that would be a good idea, just because we may have someone who just, for some reason, just doesn't feel they can project, and I want everybody's message heard. So I think that would be great to have that available. And then it depends on who's presenting. I don't think you and Justin will need a microphone. I certainly won't. So.
Okay, and the other thing obviously is COVID protocols. I don't know, nobody knows what the hell is going to be happening on May 17th or this coming Thursday or anything else. So we'll just have to keep that in mind. In terms of theater productions right now, everybody's pretty much requiring proof of vaccination and masking inside. Whether that'll still be the case on May 17th, I don't know. Some places are loosening up on some of these things, some are not. So it's something we should just make sure we keep in mind and let folks know. It's good if folks know ahead of time, if they're attending an event, what's expected. So.
Absolutely. That was one of my concerns on the invite. If we mentioned that masks are encouraged but not required, or how we want to tackle that so when we get to the invitation, we can discuss some of other people's concerns as well.
Yeah, if everybody's got a glass of wine in their hand, it's tough to keep them masked up the whole time. They're,
right,
chatting and drinking and eating and,
And it depends on the policies the town has that are being enforced at that time, as well as nationwide and the state, through Equity Theater. All those things we should look at when we get closer to the event. But I think we should continue to plan full force as the event.
We certainly don't want to, I can tell you, refer to anything that Equity has to say about any of this. That would be a bad idea.
100% agree with Michael. I do have a question though. Is there any possibility of doing like if we were able to have like a PA system outside, like being on the courtyard, in the courtyard area, and just not having to worry? I mean, if the weather permitted. I realize, I don't know, I'm just saying like that, outdoors seems to make everything a whole lot easier. I mean,
yeah, we can, obviously we have the space for that.
Right.
Our special permit prohibits amplification outdoors. We tried to have one night of a single electric piano and unamplified singer. And the neighbors, insisted that we were turning into the chicken box outdoors and shut the whole thing down. And, so that's the only thing that's tricky about that is having a mic outdoors. But I'm a boundary pusher, so.
I think we can, I think all these ideas are really good. And if I think we should have a plan A, B, and C, and G even, if we have to pivot. And all those are great ideas. It's great that we have an outdoor space that we can utilize. And I do agree, amplified sound in a bigger space is kind of important. But I do understand the restrictions. So as we get closer, if we have to tackle that, we will move forward and with the town and see if we can get dispensation to perhaps do it, or whatever it may take. Anyone's thoughts on that? Okay. Anything else from the venue?
No, it's pretty straightforward, and we're happy to have the event. So.
Okay, thank you very much. I will work on bartenders for that event that are tip certified for you. Moving on to food. Sarah.
Yes.
How are we doing with?
We are doing well. I spoke to Jenny Bentz. She's on board for that date and time.
Fantastic.
I just need to understand the budget, which I know we're going to go over. And we discussed doing 2 separate hors d'oeuvres, one vegetarian and one not.
Great.
And I have agreed to pick up the food so that we don't have to deal with a delivery cost.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Perfect.
Do you know basically just for the timeline about an idea when the food would arrive?
I think I can pick it up anytime after 3 o'clock. So that's my understanding from Jenny, and I'll arrange with her whatever time we decide on.
Okay, great. Michael, is there refrigeration available at the theater for any of these food needs?
Yeah, we've got a commercial fridge upstairs.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Thank you. Great. Any other concerns on the food? And we'll get to the budget. I'm going to talk about beverages, and then we'll get to the budget, which is Janet's piece.
Jordana, you have this like late Lucille Ball voice thing happening. I don't know if anybody else is hearing that. But.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really staticky. Oh wait, that's better.
It's better?
That sounds like you, yeah.
Okay, I'll just get closer. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. Okay, so as far as non-alcoholic beverages and the beverages go, I'm sorry, Sarah, anything else from the food concern? Anything you need support on?
Nope, not unless anyone has any questions.
Anyone?
Have we put an order in yet? Because I don't think we've settled on the budget, have we?
I have not ordered anything yet, but I just gave her the outline.
Excellent. And the beverages, I'm getting a donation from Martinetti. Now that I know what Michael has, I can supplement it with some whites, some non-sparkling rosé, and some reds. I also suggest that we rent glasses. I just think it has more of an adult feel when wine is poured into real glasses as opposed to plastic. And since we're the cultural council, I just think it's important.
Okay, could you not get red wine?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have red wine or beer in the theater just because we have wooden floors and
Okay, absolutely, no problem. So I will stick to white and rosé for the donation. No problem. And do you have any problem with glass, Michael?
I don't have a problem with glass. If it's stemmed glassware and people are holding it, it's fine. you know, if people sit down in the theater, a lot of times things get kicked over. So that's a slight concern, but it shouldn't be that big a deal.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that's great. And then also a small budget for iced tea and lemonade. I thought we could serve as well as non-alcoholic, as well as maybe some sparkling waters and regular waters for people. I'm sure most people will grab water or something before heading into the theater. Most likely. So I'd like to have those available. And let's get to the music portion. Tony, I'm sorry, does anyone have any questions on the food or beverage portion for me? Okay. Great. So we'll now move on to Tony, who is going to work with the entertainment portion and the musicians for the beginning of the evening.
Yep. So that's the good news is they are set up. It'll be once we confirm the times, we have the timeline. I'll get the final confirmation. But Aiden Sherry and Jason Sullivan will do some jazz guitar, kind of nice background, delightful music. So that's all set. I do need to get them the time and make sure they're still available. But even if they drop out, I've got a couple backup plans, so we're good to go.
And they'll be in the,
so
in
two
the
musicians.
lobby. Is that right?
Yeah, from what I understood and what I pitched to them was they'd be sitting in a corner in the lobby, just providing some background music.
Okay.
How long will they play for?
That's the other question. So that's part of the timeline. What I told them was probably around an hour tops, kind of a cocktail hour type thing.
Excellent. That sounds about an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. So once we have the timeline, I'll get that fully confirmed.
Okay. Great. Excellent. Now we're going to circle back to Janet because most of the things that we've talked about have a cost, which Janet's going to help us with through her budget.
So I've budgeted $1,500 from the culture and tourism budget for this event. $200 has already been budgeted for the musicians for the 2 hours. That leaves us $1,300 for everything else that we're going to need. Rental of glasses, beverages, and food, I think.
Perfect.
So do we want to make decisions about that now? Like how much do we want to spend on food? Do we know what? I think we had planned on 50 people.
Let's circle back to Emma, who was in charge, who was going to compile an invitation list. How does that invitation list look, Emma?
Yeah. Could I share my screen and we could kind of work on it together? I have an Excel sheet and I shared it out to everyone, but I just want to review that and see if anyone wants.
How many people approximately would you say?
I was just trying to count it. Like, I guess it depends. Like if we're inviting one person for each like organization that got a grant, that's around 20 for the 3 years. And then I would say maybe 20 to 30 more, depending on who we decide to invite.
And usually, in my experience, if you're going to come from an organization, you're usually going to bring your people. So you're going to bring at least one, maybe two other people. So I'm thinking at least two to three people at least.
In terms of like who will actually show up, maybe we're looking at 50 to 75, but that seems high to me, knowing this island and people's availability and stuff. But I also could be like forgetting a contingent of people. I mean, Janet, you had a look at the list and added a couple things, so I don't know that we're missing that anything too big.
Yeah, I don't think I added a couple names and
Janet, what are your thoughts on the list?
I added a couple of names and changed a couple, but I don't remember how long the list was.
Okay.
I would guess 50
Okay.
would be a good planning number.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
And if we can get a per person cost from Jenny, then I can keep working on the budget.
Just to,
Excellent.
I suggested 15 to 20 to her. I mean, that's what she suggested to me, I should say. But, you know, we can work with her on that if that's a problem.
Did she have an estimate for what that might cost for 15 to 20?
That would be either 750 to 1,000
Right.
if we're looking at 50 people.
So if we go to the high end, that leaves us $300 for everything else that we need to buy.
So glass rental probably cost us between 100 and 150. I will go pick that up as well. So there'll be no delivery costs involved on the glasses.
Also, are we thinking of print invites or electronic invites? Because if we're
That's
doing print, we would need to factor that cost in.
What's everyone's thoughts on that as far as being proper as opposed?
I think if we send it electronically and people see it and they're gonna come, they're gonna respond more quickly than if they have some piece of mail to open and it gets stuck in a pile somewhere. Like on
Yeah, especially since we're asking for a response. It might just be easy to hit reply.
I think that's a good idea. Plus,
but I don't know. I mean, things get lost in the email inbox, but like people might not open their mail for a while either. So you never really know.
we can put something on the email to see if it's been opened. Is that correct? On these invites when we send them?
I don't know. I mean, it depends how we send them. I'm pretty new to that kind of thing. Does anyone have any more like experience with that?
I've not used those event functions, those invite functions.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty
I believe.
I'm sorry, there's plenty of software out there that, you know, you just send your like post. What's the one? Oh man, I'm blanking on the name, but yeah, there's systems and services out there. And I know that you do have to pay over a certain number of invitees, but I think we're under that anyway. So it should be good. And to your question, yeah, you can see who opened it. You can send reminders and all kinds of stuff that way. Justin, you guys use that for your stuff last year, I remember.
We use paperless posts all the time. I mean, we just had an event in Palm Beach, and you know, we ended up having to call everyone to make sure they were coming. Or who was coming, because it's that set is used to getting a paper invitation. I think that the people we're dealing with, I think an Evite is fine, and it does cost a little bit of money. I don't know how much. It depends upon the invitation you pick. It looks like we're going to load ours in, so it'll be a graphic that is already in there. I don't know what it costs. I don't.
Also,
but I can.
Paperless Post also has a RSVP function, so
right.
You can, you know,
and we can track it, so we can see who's opened it, and we can, you know, if someone that we really want to make sure is there has opened it, we can say, hey, you opened this and didn't respond. Are you coming? You know, we can. Someone will have to be on that and track it though.
Or like, is it tacky to just send an email with the flyer attached and say, hey, we're inviting you to this, and just be.
I think because we have food and drink involved, I think it would be nice to have a number, but that's just, again, my 2 cents on that. Like,
yeah, I think being able to track who, like Justin said, who opened and who RSVP'd is worth having.
Perfect. So I will talk to Ava and see if she has, she may already have access to this program through everything that she does. And if not, I can look into it a little bit more to see how we can set up our invitation. We also have Janet, who is also volunteered to be the resource for compiling the RSVPs as well. So we have all those elements working to make sure that we get our.
If we're going with paperless post, that might be beyond my ability to function.
Yeah.
Would
you be?
It's pretty easy, Janet.
Would you
It's all automated. And
Yeah,
what the hell kind of retirement is this anyway? What are you doing?
Long and slow.
We can work on that together, Janet, and just so we get a better number, and we'll figure it out. But I think that might be a nice way to do it. But we have to see about the cost involved and see moving forward. And so Emma, you're working, I'm going to circle back to invitations. Emma, you're working on the list, and how's, you said you were going to share the screen with us. Has everybody received that?
Can I do that? Because I could use some help with this. Let me see if I can still edit it while I do that. Okay, can you guys see the?
And it might be good if we all get sent the list so we can sit with it.
So I did share it a while ago. So if you could look in like your Google Drive shared, or I'm not sure if I can send like a updated, like it's all already shared with you.
Yep.
So do we have some time just to go through? Is that okay if we spend some time on that?
I think it's important.
Okay.
Let's try to be efficient as possible, but yeah, I think.
So NCTV in the past has come from Arlene, but also from Lisa. So I think just sending it to Arlene is fine. She was the contact for this year. Justin, can you confirm that Bethany's good contact?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you know about it. We have Alyssa from Stand Up and Learn. That was this year's email, so that should be up to date. John, Tony, can you confirm if Andrea or Andrea still would be a contact, or do you want to be a contact for?
She'd be great. She actually administered that program, so.
Okay, perfect.
I wasn't here yet.
I don't know this person, Brian.
Yeah, he's at the community school here. That's the right.
Yeah.
Okay,
That is the right email. He's
perfect.
probably the right. Either he or Tracy would be the right people. For
Okay, yeah, he was the one that sent in the application.
That's probably right.
Betsy, I know that's good for her. I think Liz is still at Artists Association for that. This woman there, since this is an off-island project, this is just the email from her application, Barbara.
Yep.
I do know that this goes to Maddie, although is she still the director at the Book Fest? Does anyone know?
Yes, she's going through at the end of the year, so the festival.
That's me. I think that Liz is still using that email. I'm not sure about Jackie, but I think that's probably good. Michael, is this info at White Heron? That'll get to you and Josh.
That goes to Josh. You should probably put my email in there. Just Michael.
Okay, just Michael.
Josh works from New Haven mostly,
Yeah.
but if he's going to be here that week, I'm going to try and get him to be there that evening.
Awesome.
So say hello to everybody.
And then for some reason, I guess we didn't have maybe as much in 21. So I pulled these off of the Excel sheet that Janet had sent out a while ago of the grant recipients, because I don't think we have any copies of our panel books from when they switched over. But this is what I pulled from, so they do it by the fiscal year. So this year's, the ones we awarded most recently were 22. Last year's 21. So NCTV, Theater Workshop, and White Heron again, Mass Audubon.
I have a better email for Sam if you want it. It goes directly to him.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Although I think I got an email from him recently. Does anyone know if Vanessa Larrabee is still the contact for Sherburne?
Yes.
I believe she's still there.
Okay.
She is.
And then these were all repeats except for Dreamland. Does anyone know if Sage is still the Dreamland contact?
I don't
Don't think so. I'm not sure.
Or maybe should we put Alicia, or is there someone better we should
Should probably go to Alicia.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Or Josh.
I'll just double check that hers is just Alicia at Nantucket Dreamland. Okay, so I think that's it for the grant award winners, but I don't know if there's a way to double check that. If Jordan, do you have any listings?
I do. I have our old files, so I'll go through this pretty much. The only thing that I don't see in here, the Popsicles program from the Nantucket Ice Rink. We sponsored them. So they're a past recipient.
Was that in the last 3 years, or do we want to go past?
I think, well, what basically our core funding almost goes to the same recipients for different programming. So you have that core, but then you have, I really would like to encourage the people that have written at one time, but maybe they've had an administration change or they don't know about the programming. I think it's important to bring them back in the fold.
Yeah.
So,
is there anything?
Plus, they have a lot of things going on now at the Nantucket Ice Rink that they never had before.
Is there anyone else? Because I've really only done these past 3 years on the council. So is there anyone else that anyone knows of that?
The NHA is in there. We've sponsored their
diversity.
I have them
down. I did some other cultural institutions that I didn't see any applications from.
Perfect. Okay.
So I guess I can move to that now, and you guys could help me maybe with the proper contacts here. Do you have an idea for NHA? Should we they have like a interim director right now, I think.
They've just hired Niles back.
Right.
Should I try to get his email?
I think if you send it to Joanna, like she's the interim, is that, but yeah, I think it would be, I think I would send it to her and I would send it to him. I would send that to both.
Okay. And maybe Janet, or if there's anyone else that has the actual emails for these people, that would be great. I mean, I can try to look them up, but a lot of times they're not super public.
I can send you both Anna and Janet's.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get that too.
Awesome. Sustainable Nantucket. I didn't know if we wanted to include anyone from there.
I think that's a good idea. Sure.
Okay. Preservation Trust. I just pulled these off the Cultural District website.
Mm-hmm.
Mariah Mitchell. Does anyone know, do we still have a local African Meeting House rep?
There is a new person, but I think its last name is Spriggs. I think it's the daughter of the people who used to run the place.
Okay. Does anyone have contact for them?
No, I usually go through Boston.
Okay. Maybe, can you send me the Boston, or add the Boston contact person on here? NISDA, is that still Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have an email for her?
I do.
Okay. Should we include her on the list?
Yeah, I think I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want anybody's feelings. I want to be inclusive and just so I think it's better to invite
than to not to say, to not.
Okay.
I think
and then Jana, I think you added these. Linda Loring, Almanac, and Egan. Is there any other organization that anyone knows of that or can think of that would be good to add?
The library.
Yep, I have that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
We've given money to the Montessori school.
Oh yeah, is that Small Friends?
No,
No, it's different.
Children's House.
We've also given money to small.
I realize that that Nisha doesn't scream cultural institution, but they do a lot of. I mean, I'm also, full disclosure, on the board of Nisha now, but they do a lot of you know, programming that, I mean, paint with animals. I mean,
yeah.
that I don't know if I don't have a bias one way or the other here. I'm just throwing it out as another incident.
Yeah, I think they're worth including.
That would be,
absolutely.
yeah, that would be Jessica Sosaby. I have the sheet open. Emma, I'll put her email in right now.
Awesome, thank you.
Perfect.
Anything else?
What about the garden club?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Do you know, Sarah, a contact?
I can get one for you.
Okay.
I have a contact for the garden club.
Okay.
If you'd like. Robin Youngman, and I can.
Yeah, if anyone can add onto this list contacts they might have, that would be super helpful.
Mm-hmm, sure. Let's see, Small Friends, did that make the list? Small Friends should be on
that
there
we
as
have
well.
up as a, we have Jackie McGrady.
Okay,
She's the
perfect.
development person.
Sorry?
She's the fundraiser.
Yep.
Should I add another? That was the contact info from the grant application, but I could add someone else as well.
I'm sure she can handle it for them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think it
okay.
might be good to.
Go ahead.
Friends of the Nantucket Public School.
Okay.
And also, since you're doing the schools, the Lighthouse School and the new school. And then that way, all of our educational bases.
What about Tommy Brissett from the golf club?
Right, and I was about to, right along the lines, Remaining Community Foundation should probably get invitations.
Yes,
Yep.
So
Community Foundation is on there.
It's also wine. Absolutely. So that'll, yep.
now I have school admin. You said new school and Lighthouse School should we invite public school admin or?
I would invite the superintendent, sure. Invite
Okay.
the superintendent of the school of.
Is that
absolutely?
Yes.
Yes.
And were we going to add
Okay, I also.
the golf club?
Oh yeah, should we do that? That's Nantucket Golf Club.
Yeah, Tom Brissett.
Do you have a contact for him?
I don't, but I'm sure it's on their website.
Okay.
I have one.
What about 97.7, the radio stations?
Oh yeah, I have Daybreak, but I'll add that. I don't really know. Yeah.
Laura, right? I mean, that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Bill Farrell also, since he's doing the new.
Yeah, he's doing Daybreak, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, he does their new branded, that the old Man About Town thing is now whatever they're calling it, Nantucket About Town. That's his.
So I also added the Inquirer and Mirror, the Current, and Florencia does the Towns Press, I think.
How about Yesterday's Island?
Suzanne. Dog.
Yeah, they're very supportive of the
I agree.
and art scene.
Excellent idea.
What about the Interfaith Council, just because of all the music associated with the different institutions?
Great idea.
Yeah, so I guess if everyone could go on and just add contacts that they know, that would be great.
So in the town for we've invited, who have we invited from the town?
So I wasn't exactly sure. I just put select board ×5. Libby
Okay.
is Greg is the assistant town manager.
Perfect.
Erica's an admin. Kamal diversity.
Excellent. Perfect. All of those people have helped us, so that's great.
Is there anyone else?
The treasurer, Melinda.
Oh yeah, Fournier.
Yeah, absolutely. She.
The chamber. I don't know who's really running the chamber now. Janet, do you know?
John Ta is, but they're getting a new director, I think, by May 1st.
Okay. And the Arts Council, I didn't know if we should invite them as kind of a similar mission.
We have provided funding to them in the past, so I think that's a good idea. Absolutely.
For the select board, do they have like town emails addresses? Yeah, okay. And Janet, is there anyone else from Mass Cultural?
I haven't heard, I've only been hearing from Timothea of late. I don't know who's taken over the Mass Cultural Council. I mean, the Cultural District.
Do they, who's their bigwig now?
Bobbitt, Michael Bobbitt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, should we invite him?
Sure, I don't think they're gonna come down from Boston, but we should send it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Timothea might come. Who wouldn't want a work paid trip to Nantucket in May?
Right, on a Tuesday.
Okay.
Also, that week is Nantucket Wine Festival week. So there, I don't know if you want to invite the head of the council, the Nantucket Wine Festival. If you want to invite Nancy, they do give away money in the community, and they do give away money to our cultural organizations. That is up to you. They may not even come, but it's
I think it's worth the invitation. Yeah, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to invite Nancy.
Yeah, especially.
I think especially as we, I know this is not right now, but like we've talked about. Sorry, I just talked over you, Emma. I think as we're talking about, Michael's brought up and other people about expanding and where do we get more money from and things like that. This is an opportunity to at least we can say, hey, we invited you, and then start the conversation, because the Wine Fest, just like Jordana said, I mean, they were even a producer at one point at the theater workshop. So I think that there's some money there. Sorry, Emma.
I'm sorry.
Before I dropped it.
I'm sorry, Emma. I was looking at the list.
Yeah.
Can we add the Nantucket Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah. Perfect. Is that Jamie?
I believe it is.
If we're doing that, which I think is a great idea, what about the directors of our house, since they're just starting out?
Oh yeah.
Excellent idea.
I don't know what their does anyone have contact for them? And then what's your name? Pauline.
I can get it for you.
Okay. Excellent. And I think that if something comes up in the meantime that someone wants to add onto this list, like, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna maybe Maria Partida.
Oh yeah, she's involved with that.
Perfect.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the share.
Great. Great. And so if everyone can just think about that list, and if you have any contributions, make them directly to the list in Google Drive. That would be the most helpful. Is that correct, Emma? The best way to do that for you? Okay.
And I don't know that I'm going to be able to take on a lot with the invitations and RSVPs. So I guess we should decide how we're going to go about what the invite is going to say and how we're going to go about getting that out.
Okay, great. I think if we're working on the list and compiling the list and working on that collectively together that you've started, we'll have all those email addresses. And then the next thing is looking at that invitation and seeing what other information we want to populate the invitation with that's not there. And then moving forward into the next phase of sending out those invitations. We talked about different options of sending those out. So understandable, definitely heard. And hopefully that list will really be what propels the invitations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, Emma, I don't know if I'm hearing you correctly though, but the problem is like, not problem, but what we need to address is who's going to manage, like if we send it paperless post, whose email is it going to come from? Because it has to come from one email. And then, you know, that person is going to be the one that's going to get all of the responses, et cetera. I mean, we could create a paperless post account for the cultural council, I guess, but I still think it would come from like my email or Tony's email or Jordana's email. I would volunteer to do that, except we are actually going to be in rehearsals then at work. We're actually opening a play in late May. So I don't want to, and I'm directing it. So I don't want to get myself into something I can't effectively manage, because I do think it's going to be reaching out to some people. You know, when you see it opened, and like we said, or we just send it in an email and we call it a day, you know, and we just kind of plan for 75. And
I think it's good to at least ask for RSVPs and then use that as like a guesstimate. It doesn't have to be a strict like, oh, you did an RSVP, you can't come in. And maybe we send like a reminder follow-up. I'm actually not going to be here for the month of May, so I just won't be able to provide that service.
Sure. Okay. I have no problem having it come from my email if we decide to go with a paperless post function and managing that and reaching out to get a correct count and make sure that everyone has been informed and knows that they've been invited. I have no problem doing that if that's what we decide to go forward and do.
Thank you, Jordana.
Of course. Anything else? Okay. So we come back to the invitation, and are people able to view this invitation?
I was not.
Yeah, I don't have iCloud. Could maybe someone share the screen?
I can share my screen and show it to everybody if you want me to.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Is that okay with everyone?
Perfect. Thank you. It was basically, she laid out a basic template.
Can everybody see that?
And she didn't know if this should be.
Yeah.
And
Karen
she
only
said,
has one R, by the way. Just, I don't know who's in charge of that, but.
Wait, what did you say, Michael?
Herod.
Oh, yes. Huh.
Yes.
So did Ava want to
She
design?
just said she volunteered to design the invitation, and this is
information. So she's been traveling. So she compiled this and she said, basically, let it be a point of conversation. And then anything that you want.
that's not on here. She also didn't know if, now that we have a new logo, if that should be on the front and this should be on the inside, if it's a paper invitation as opposed to an electronic invitation. So all these questions, I was hoping we could flesh out during this meeting, and then she'll have a more clear directive and can come back to us with the final product.
My sense is that we should entrust this to one or two people, and I don't think the whole council needs to be involved in designing by committee.
Oh no, I think that, you know, she's volunteered to design it, so I think, you know, if there's anyone point of view now that you would like to put in, I can convey that to Ava. If
I just think,
I think our logo.
yeah, I think our logo, I think it needs to say maybe please join us, not you're invited, because it's a, you know, it's a, we're an organization. And then I think also, you know, put 2022 on there. And something about light bites and, you know, that there will be something to drink, obviously fix White Heron's name. Do you want, Michael, do you guys want your logo there? Maybe?
We'd love to have our logo wherever it can fit. So
I mean, if a little, you know, I think if a little White Heron logo could fit there too, that's, we all recognize that more than, I love logos. But anyway, and then.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
All right, I can send that to Ava.
And are we changing the RSVP to you now, Jordana?
Well, it depends how these invitations go out. It depends, and it depends on you, what you would like to do. And
well, I probably won't be the director of culture and tourism by the time this event comes around. But I will have the same email.
Okay.
And it have to be spelled correctly.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Okay. She just sent this over. Okay. Yes. My God.
I think also it might be helpful, especially if it's electronic, to just have a one sentence, excuse me, a one sentence honoring award recipient. You know, what is the point? So what are we awarding? You know, why should people come? So honoring.
I think Janet. Yeah.
19th or whatever.
We had reception before. We had the Nantucket Cultural Council Awards reception, I think was the verbiage. I can get it exactly. Hold on.
Yeah, that might solve that.
Grant recipient award ceremony. So
I like reception because we're also gonna have like food and drink. Like it's kind of more informal.
And I think that's what the event truly is. It is a reception. Because Tony is absolutely correct. We're not giving out another award, although I would like to bring something up. I would like to. I think it is important for the council, and I have spoken to her just briefly about this, but I would like to take this opportunity to honor Janet Schultz for her contribution to culture and the community. And I think it's a nice platform to do that. And I wanted to bring it up before the council. And also, because of that, I would like to take over the RSVPs, because I think if we're honoring her, she should not be have any work to do with this. She's supporting it. She's always supported it, and she's built a huge building block that we all stand upon. And I would like to put that into the award ceremony.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Justin,
second.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, I got to run
Great.
to my next meeting.
Okay.
But
Just perfect. Just one last thing I just wanted to mention. If Justin, Michael, and myself, we can work on the presentation of the evening itself together. And then I can work out a timeline and share that with the council when we meet again. I would like to ask that our next meeting be Tuesday, April 26th at 1 p.m.
I won't be able to be there, but I mean, I'll be traveling.
Is there a better date? Okay. Is there a better date for you?
The 22nd to the 26th are really tough for me. So the 27th is better for me, but I don't know how that works for everybody else.
How does the 27th work for everyone else?
Yep, that's fine.
Perfectly fine.
Wednesday, April 27th at 1 p.m.
That's great with me. Thank you so
Perfect.
much, everybody, for
Okay,
adjusting.
perfect. So our next meeting will be Wednesday, the 27th of April at 1 p.m.
Great. I got to run. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. It
you.
is. Thank you, Michael. Do we have any questions, concerns, comments? Is there anything we haven't touched upon?
Jordana, do you think that would you be comfortable waiting until like after the 27th and just meeting actually in person, you, me, and Michael, to discuss the flow of this? Or do you want to do you want something before then? I'll be back on island after that, and I just thought if we're all on island, it might be easier to sit down and do this than do it over Zoom, but I'm willing to do whatever.
Sure. That's fine with me. We'll just block out a time, I guess. You know, we have 5:30, it's 5:30 to 7:30. So we have that too, you know, and we have the reception
time we have and the timeline, and then we'll fill it. So that's perfect. We can do that.
It would be helpful if we had just the outline timeline, just so I can book the musicians, that kind of thing. I just need to know when to bring them in. But as far as the rest of it,
I can get that created for us and out by the beginning of next week. Just a loose
timeline. Does that sound okay?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And then I have one other question. Do we have a name for the award that we're going to bestow on Janet? Or should we think about that and talk about it at our next meeting?
I think that would be What was it?
Goodrich up in North. What do you want?
Yeah, cash is fine.
I think if we can all think about it'll be the first award, and then we can truly call it an award ceremony. And I think that there's so many things, but I like the just give me cash.
You get a giant check. But it's just a giant check. You don't get any money. You just
it says void across the front of it, but sure.
Boundless.
So in some initial discussions, we had talked about maybe having some of the grant recipients speak to their programs. Are we still going to want to do that? Or we talked about like a visual, like a PowerPoint with either just saying what the program they did was. Are we going to, what do we think along those lines? And do we need to reach out to anyone if we're asking them to present anything?
Well, I think that's.
Oh, go. Sorry.
I think.
I've
Can
lost
you
the
hear me? Or
clearly, right?
I think what I would like to do is perhaps on the invitation, if there, and again, maybe technology will, what we need to do will set the parameters, but I would love for the ability of these organizations to say yes. And then we can ask them for photos, knowing that they probably will not be attached on the first invitation, and we will have to ask 3 or 4 more times. But I think the incentive is if we have these photographs, we can put them up on the big screen and really feature your arts organization. And if you don't send them in, then it's on you, as opposed to we didn't get a photograph. We can ask for all the photographs, and then I'll follow up with those organizations that we don't get those photographs, so we can help put that visual presentation together. Because I know from checking in, that seemed to be, they just weren't getting the information and the photographs and the visuals that they needed to put together the presentation. And that, I think, having that visual will be huge, especially when people sit in a theater, they expect something to be on the stage to look at. And I think that'll provide that.
So,
question, Justin.
Yeah, my concern is who's going to, because I remember this being a conversation 2 meetings ago about who was going to put this together. Did that get solved? Because if it didn't, then may I humbly offer a little bit more, not as sophisticated as that, but just what if we have some easels and we have Poets Corner print us just, I mean, we've done this a lot at like event, 2-hour events, print, we get poster frames, it looks nice, we can have those throughout while people are mingling and then move them to the stage, and they could be on the stage. I mean, it would be something, and it feels like a little bit more doable. Someone still has to create those, and I don't want to volunteer Ava because she's not here, but maybe we can, I don't know, maybe I could even help Ava, but I don't know, I'm just wondering if that might be easier, just my...
Yeah. I can revisit this with Ava because she was going to spearhead this. So I can revisit her commitment to it and see, and her availability, and see if she's still able to do this. If not, I think that's a great pivot. There's a cost involved with that. And I just don't want to miss any organization or make any organization feel slighted because they didn't get a board.
What if it was just the last 3 years that we like were focused on, and then we could mention the other people that, because we're inviting them, and then maybe we even just have one board that just lists organizations, so that way they're not missed, but the last 3 years is what we're trying to kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I'm happy to talk about this more. I'm sorry, I realized I need to go as well. I'm running my mouth and making the meeting longer. Sorry, everybody.
Well, it is 2:08. So I will ask, is there any more conversation that anyone would like to have about any of these items? Okay, I now ask for public comment. Okay, there's no public comment. I'd like to call this meeting for the Nantucket Cultural Council. I'd like to adjourn it. Keeping in mind that our next meeting will be Wednesday, the 27th of April at 1 p.m. That is a Wednesday again. And the invitation will go out. Emma, are you able to post that, or would you like me to do this?
If you could do that, that would be great. I can send you the Zoom info. Okay,
perfect. No problem. So I will get the meeting posted, and we will meet again on the 27th of April. In the meantime, please keep your action items that you've been working on in mind. Keep working towards those. If you need any support, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. And any questions or concerns as well. And I thank you for your time, and think about an award name for the new award that we're going to bestow on our first award recipient, Janet Schultz. Again, I call this meeting to an adjournment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. We'll see you
Thanks,
again.
everybody.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Everybody.